Bragg, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're new, welcome. We've got so much to cover with the battle for Los Angeles waging, and, well, the Democrats, the liberals, the left planning more mayhem around the country. So we'll definitely be covering all of that and a whole bunch more and taking your calls. Just switching the phones on. Okay, that's that. Okay. Welcome. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe, guys. This is where MAGA comes to talk, no doubt. Welcome, everyone. I'm just setting up here still. We'll be live in a few minutes. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live stream. Yeah, Gavin Newsome really humiliated himself, didn't he? Big time. Big time. That's something to check that out. St. Louis, welcome. Welcome to St. Louis. Okay. Oh, the night shift. Yep. I think I kind of work the night shift because I get up so early. I feel like I do. I don't know if I technically do, but I feel like I do. Like today, I wake up. Today I woke up at 1:30, and that's usually the time I wake up in the mornings now on the East Coast here to do the 6 a.m. show. So I don't know. Am I an overnight worker? I'm starting my show prep at like 1:45, or am I not an overnight worker? I don't know. You guys, let me know. I like doing that early morning stuff. I get a lot more done. I have, because there's a lot of work that goes into, the podcast, the radio show, my YouTube channel. There's a lot of work that goes on, and I've gotten of the outside work of actually doing the show. I've got about 80% of it done already. I'll finish it up when I get off the air. And I do have a podcast I got to do today. So I'll do that. But sometimes the podcast, last night, my podcast, you may have noticed I uploaded my podcast a little late. It took me It took me almost 3 hours to upload my podcast. It was some problems with the upload. I don't know. I have to edit it and everything because it's not live. Having all kinds of problems. It took about 2.5, 3 hours to get that podcast up. After I did it, I was like, oh my goodness. I was so ready to go to bed, and then I was still having problems. I could get up at 3 and be ready for the show, but I get up early like that because I would much rather, since I got to get up early anyway, I'd much rather get up and get as much of my work done for the day as possible. I could have gotten it all done except the podcast if I didn't do that. I did that live stream from the car. If I did not do that live stream, I would maybe have had everything done for the day except the podcast. I had to record some commercials for the podcast. I had to record some commercials for the radio station. So what I did is I did the recordings, but now I have to edit the commercials when I get off the air this morning. And I do have one meeting I have to go to today after the show, later this morning, about 10:30 or 11. I have a meeting, so I forgot about the meeting. So I'll finish up my audio production, go to the meeting, and then come home, and then I'll do the podcast. Mm-hmm. Let's see. It's almost time. Just waiting to hear from Mike at the radio station. He'll tell me what time, and then we'll be good to go. And of course, we'll continue. There's a lot of developments in the battle for Los Angeles. Okay, he just gave me the time. Which is just over 3 minutes we'll be live. Yes, I'll start the other stream right before it's time. I'm just thinking about what I'm going to start with. I got a couple things here. No, Trump did not dodge the draft. That's another one of those liberal urban legends. But you're welcome to call me on the air about it. The number to call, we'll be live in 2 minutes. So I'll be taking calls live on the show. You're welcome to call live on the air. Lib lies, fantasies, urban legends. Oh, Trump's a great person. The best. We're very lucky to have him. Okay. I recorded a new commercial and I left one thing out they just told me, so I gotta add something to one of the commercials I recorded this morning. That's right, MAGA for life. We got about 1 minute. Those of you in the chat, I respond to your comments when you call me on the show. I don't really talk to the chat while I'm on there. You got to call in. No profanity. Make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. The number to call in is pinned in the live stream. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We got a lot to cover. Los Angeles under lockdown last night. And, you know, this is what President Trump is doing is just absolutely amazing. The retaking of the United States that has been occupied and colonized by illegals. And things have gotten so bad with these mostly peaceful protesters, as they keep calling them in the liberal media and in Democrat circles, that Los Angeles was under lockdown. They have a curfew put in place by the lifelong communist Mayor Karen Bass, put a curfew in place over her mostly peaceful protesters. So we've got a lot to cover that we're going to get to on the program today. Gavin Newsome's been telling some tall tales and lies about our favorite president, Donald Trump. And Donald Trump brought the receipts and humiliated Gavin Newsome. Not that he needed to be humiliated by President Trump. He's doing a fine job of that on his own, Gavin Newsome. Did you see Gavin Newsome's address to the state of California? Couldn't even get the microphone working. Oh my goodness. You know, yesterday was a complete disaster for Gavin Newsome all day long. What's going viral right now, there's two things about Gavin Newsome going viral. One, his emergency address to the people of California, he couldn't get the microphone working. That's pretty bad. I mean, there's no getting around. That's pretty bad. Pretty bad. And you know, that thing with the microphone, which I'll play later because it's just fun, I don't think that was an accident. I think one of the people that were working on the audio and video, I think someone did that. You know, it's so easy for a technical person to do something like that, and no one knows that they, or will ever know that they did it on purpose. But having dealt with that in my life and worked in the technical areas of broadcasting throughout my life, I know how these things are done all the time by people. I think it was very much on purpose. It was a form of protest against Gavin Newsom. So that was a disaster. While Los Angeles is burning and is under siege, and the United States Marine Corps and the federalized California National Guard have been called out to the streets of Los Angeles, what did Gavin Newsome's family do? His wife went shopping in Beverly Hills yesterday, and she made sure that the media knew about it. Now, how do you think that happened? Gavin Newsome's wife going shopping in Beverly Hills with the paparazzi there. Gavin's done something to make his wife angry. Gavin Newsome's wife went shopping in Beverly Hills yesterday and made sure that she was captured by the television crews, probably called them herself or had her assistant call them, because she's mad at Gavin for something. What she's mad at him about? I don't know. Who knows with this lunatic, but he did something pretty severe that his wife wanted to humiliate him. You know, it simply could be that his wife thought she was going to be the first lady of the United States in the future, and since he's blown that opportunity in their minds, she was acting out because of that. But there's some other things a husband can do that rise to that level. But for Gavin Newsome's wife, during the disasters that's going on right now during the Battle of Los Angeles to go shopping in Beverly Hills with television crews filming her, he's done something pretty bad to upset his wife. And she didn't tell him either, because at least she didn't tell him till she was there. If he knew, and I'll ask you guys this, about Newsome. If Gavin Newsome knew that his wife was going shopping in Beverly Hills yesterday, do you think he would have stopped her? I think he would have done everything in his power to stop her. So what could he have done? Yeah, I could speculate. I'm not going to speculate because, there's only a couple of things that a husband could do in his position to make his wife do something so humiliating. And the least is blowing her chances to be first lady. So those are two things. First, last night his microphone wasn't working during his emergency address to the people of California. And that was supposed to be his shining moment. And he kept talking. I'll play it in a little bit. Then earlier in the day, the wife went shopping. That was pretty bad. In Beverly Hills, which is in Los Angeles, while everything's going on during the Battle of Los Angeles. My goodness. Do you think Churchill's wife went shopping in the fashion district of London during the Blitz? And then he really got busted, and President Trump got Fox News' John Roberts involved with the receipts that he had with him, President Trump, to humiliate Gavin further. And I watched President Trump's press conference yesterday in the Oval Office, which was spectacular. And one of the reporters asked when the last time he talked to Gavin Newsome was. And he thought about it, and he says, I don't know, a day ago or something. And Gavin Newsome has said more than once, but he made a big deal. He says that President Trump hasn't called him. They haven't spoken. He put it on the record that President Trump didn't call him. Well, President Trump doesn't like this lowlife Democrat Gavin Newsome calling him a liar. So the president, Donald Trump, our favorite president, the greatest president, President Trump called John Roberts of Fox News, who used to be the White House correspondent for Fox News in President Trump's first term, wasn't he? I think he was. And showed the call log from the cell phone that showed that indeed he did call and speak to Gavin Newsome. Let me play this. This is the Fox News story. This is amazing. Well, there he goes. So there's the lie from Gavin Newsome, and he posted it on X, so it's in writing. He put his lie in writing. Wow. There it is. Oh. Yeah, so Trump proven right again. And yeah, and look at Trump's calling him. It's almost 1:30 in the morning, and President Trump's up taking care of California and Los Angeles and calls the governor. And then he lies about it. He lies about it. You know, as a Democrat, he probably doesn't even know he's lying because that's all that they do. That is absolutely amazing. All right, we're coming up on our first break, and I want to tell you guys, you know, it's summertime, right? Are your kids out of school yet? It's summertime. It's, you know, this morning, when I left the house this morning, early in the morning here in sunny South Florida, sun's not out, 78 degrees. Wow, it's hot. And that means pool time, that means beach time, and the great Mike Lindell, who's on trial right now because he's MAGA in Colorado, the great Mike Lindell at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, has a 50% off beach sale going. That's right, there's all kinds of great products, beach towels, for all kinds of cool beach towels at MyPillow.com for the kids and the adults. They have these towel wraps that have the little hoods on them for the kids. There's lounger towels. There's the beach bag towels. There's all kinds of towels, and 50% off with our promo code KANE at checkout on the entire beach collection. I mean, some of these items, you know, the kids beach towel, which is so cool. Looks like it has Nemo on there from Finding Nemo, and it's one of those towels that has a little hood on it. It's normally $49.98, just $24.99 with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. There's beach blankets as well, which is brand new. These are new items at MyPillow.com. There's a whole bunch of colors, a whole bunch of patterns, and 50% off with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE at MyPillow.com. You can also order by phone, toll free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, KANE. All right, we'll be back right after this. Okay, we're out. Okay, we're in a radio station break. Now, those of you on the live streams, if you are watching the stream with the green screen behind me, you can hear me and the callers fine. But the audio sound bites, the videos, and the articles I show, you have to watch on my other YouTube stream, which is the wider stream. You get the full green screen effect. On this screen, you hear me, and you'll hear the callers when we go to the phones with no problem. But to hear the audio sound bites I play, see the articles I go over, and see the videos, you have to go to the other stream, which is also on this channel, all right, just so you guys know. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Welcome to all the new subscribers. And I want to tell you guys that this deal at MyPillow, 50% off, is while supplies last, and they are selling the beach items pretty fast. So it's only a matter of time before they start running out of colors and certain patterns. I know my wife has ordered a couple of the beach towels, and you know, you can use those beach towels for the shower too. I love them. So promo code KANE, KANE at checkout, and in the description of the video, you'll see my Pillow link. So check that out, guys. Absolutely. We'll be back shortly. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. We'll be back in just over a minute. Oh yeah, Gavin Newsome was humiliated beyond belief, wasn't he? I mean, that was brutal, brutal. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It is Wednesday morning. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number is toll free, no matter where you are listening to us. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Jose from the Bronx.
You're calling from the Bronx. All right, go ahead, the Bronx.
No, yeah, I'm a big Trump supporter, and these protests that are happening. I'm Mexican. I'm naturalized now. It's a shame that what I see in Los Angeles, especially carrying the Mexican flag. When you take the oath of the citizenship, you sort of you're gonna protect the U.S. So what I'm seeing is really disgraceful for me and maybe some other Americans that we're seeing this. But what I'm seeing, Mike Pence, has a good podcast, and he has
who? Mike? Did you say Mike Pence?
No, Mike Pence.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Mike Pence. I'm not interested in anything with Pence. Well, here's the thing.
No.
I heard you. Here's the thing, okay? I imagine as a Mexican American, as you are, I mean, if we want to do the hyphenated thing for the conversation, I mean, you're an American, but, for the conversation, it must be tough being Mexican, and because of what the Democrats have done with illegal immigration and what's going on now in Southern California, it's really put a really, really negative stereotype on Mexicans.
Correct.
I know.
They're naturalized here, yeah.
And here I'm in Florida, and we have a lot of Venezuelans that are legal citizens or immigrants to the United States. And I hear this from Venezuelans. They're like, oh, they tell you say you're from Venezuela, they think you're, in a gang.
Yeah, no. Listen, this is the greatest country in the world. I love America. They provided an opportunity for me, for my family. And when I see this stuff, go back to Mexico.
Well, right? One of the things
why aren't you flagging the flag, right?
Exactly. One of the things I hear the liberals say in the fake news media and Democrats, they say that Mexican Americans like you, who are U.S. citizens, that you're afraid of being picked up and deported. Do you worry about that? Being picked up and mistakenly deported?
Listen, even if there's bound to be mistakes, correct?
Sure.
People make mistakes. As long as I could provide my, my citizenship and my ID, I'll be fine.
Yeah, you just got to have your driver's license. In fact, right now, ICE, they use facial recognition. When every year we take our Listener MAGA cruises, and you don't have to show your passport. You just walk through. They do facial recognition, and they know who you are and what your status is. Yeah, so as a naturalized U.S. citizen, originally from Mexico, you have no fear of being mistakenly arrested and deported.
Correct.
Hear that, Rachel Maddow? Hey, thanks. Welcome to the program. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. There's one of those liberal talking points. Gone. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
Newsome's wife is, I equate her kind of like Casey DeSantis. She now knows that she's not going to be the first lady.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why she's acting out the way she's doing. That's why she's, embarrassing them in the way she's doing, because she thought she was going, like you say, she thought she was going to be the first lady.
Yeah. Well, she's the first lady of California for now.
For now, yeah, but that's the thing. These Democrats, they unlike the Republicans, who our argument is a little bit different. Our argument is JD or Marco, right?
Yeah.
That's our argument. They have no argument to make because they have nobody.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing with Gavin Newsome's wife going shopping in Beverly Hills yesterday, there's no one could convince me that she did not set up that whole thing, made sure the press knew. She was smiling when she saw the cameras. She's angry at Gavin. And for a wife to be that angry, it could only be one of two things. One, the first lady dreams of the United States are over, or he's cheated on her. It's one of those two. And when a wife acts out like that, which is what she did, she is fuming angry at her husband. No doubt about it.
Yep, 90210, huh?
That's right. All right. Appreciate the call. Yeah. What do you guys think? Think she was acting out, trying to get even with her husband, Mrs. Newsome, the first lady of an occupied state, or at least a big chunk of it, Southern California, occupied by Mexico, California. So lifelong communist Karen Bass had a press conference. And, I'll play that in a little bit. Let me take some of these calls. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian.
Hey, Richie.
I want to address this half of a speech that
Well,
we
one
heard
second.
from
Hold
this
on one
governor.
second here. Hold on. The lines are ringing off the hook here, so I'm just answering them. Okay, go ahead, Richie. What
This
speech?
guy, first of all, he might as well change his name to Jefferson Davis, because what I saw was the president of the insurrection of the city of L.A. actually to the people in Chicago, to the people in New York. This is their new leader. He basically has declared war against the president of the United States.
Well, what Gavin Newsome did, and everything you're saying is absolutely correct, Richie. What Gavin Newsome did was incite uprisings and violence throughout the country, which is illegal.
Exactly.
That's a crime.
He did
Can't do that.
It was one of the worst speeches.
He did the opposite. He did the opposite of what President Trump did on January 6th.
150%. This guy is out of control. What I heard, it was so bad. And then I want to address the incoherent protesters. They actually said, "This is our land. This is Mexico." This was in L.A. There, some of the protesters were reporters. This is Mexico. This is not the United States.
Mm-hmm.
They stole our land. In New York City, they were telling police, "Get out of our neighborhoods. You don't belong here. We're indigenous." I mean, they're so delusional.
Here's the reality. You and I are indigenous. Both of us were born in the United States. We are indigenous Americans.
Absolutely.
This continent was settled over 500 years ago. I mean, how far do they want to go back?
Yeah.
Adam and Eve? I mean, come on.
And I want to tell you another thing. This facade about we're arresting all these people. They put them on buses. Listen, folks, if they take them and they guide them all the way through Central South America and all over the world, and they bring them into the United States and put them on planes and put them in cities of choice and feed them and every other darn thing, you think they're going to actually arrest these people they're putting on buses? These people will be on the street before the sun comes up.
That's right.
The same people will be out there tonight. This is all a show for everybody. They're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
The whole city is disgusting.
That's right.
I mean, it's really bad.
Well, no, it's actually really good because President Trump is taking back our country. He is vowing to continue this throughout the entire United States for the rest of his presidency. All right, Richie, take care. Everything's going according to plan. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Ricochet out of Texas. I'm an over-the-road long-haul truck driver, and I just want to say, to quote Reba, I was a Trumper when Trumping wasn't cool. But these people need to be afraid, and I am so glad to see what is going on here. Sad to see the innocent people getting involved or getting caught up in it. The actual U.S. citizens that are being harmed by all the riots and everything that's going on. But glad to see the people getting deported and what needs to be done. You had mentioned something at Starbucks earlier today about getting out your teaching certificate, and I wish you would, because the schooling is just not teaching these people what needs the way it is. And it's a shame that they took all of that stuff away from our people. But I just wanted to say you do a great job, and appreciate what you're doing out here. And I can't believe just what I've seen in the trucking industry over the last 2 weeks has been incredible, because they have completely decimated.
Now slow down. I'm glad you brought that up. That's interesting. So what has changed since Trump's second term involving the trucking industry?
Well, the English-speaking language, for one. I've already been pulled over by DOT a couple of times in the last week where they're wanting to check to see if I can speak English.
Wow.
You know, so that's fantastic.
Awesome.
I mean, there are so many drivers and accidents out here on the road that, you know, have been making headlines, but I've been seeing it for the last several years, and it's just getting the headlines. Not only that, but the wages have literally been cut in half. I used to make about $3,000 a week. I'm down to making $1,200 to $1,400 a week because of all these people taking low-wage freight.
Yeah.
And they say there's a driver shortage in this country. It's not. We are so oversaturated with the illegals coming in that the rates in the industry have dropped so much because there's too many truck drivers in this country.
Well, that's going to change.
It is, and I'm so glad to see all of this, and I wish you would educate the people a little bit more, but you're doing a great job. I love you. Thank you for that.
All right.
I just wanted to say go Trump and go America.
All right. Take care. Take care. All right. One of our long-haul truckers on the line praising President Trump because the illegals that have taken over the trucking industry and brought down wages by really like 2/3, according to his call there, they're being purged by the Department of Transportation when they can't speak English. So that's awesome. All right, callers on hold. You stand by. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back. Awesome. Welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And if you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat, okay? And it's a toll-free call no matter where you are watching. This is a bottom-of-the-hour break for the radio station. Can you guys write in the chat what country you're in? What country are you watching me in? I'm curious. What country? Not city or state, what country? Just a little curious about that. Australia. USA, Canada, Iran, really? The USSR no longer exists. Germany, USA, America. That's right. Welcome, everyone. Let's see. Okay. That's right. A lot of people in Australia. Cherokee Nation, okay. That's America. St. Martin, we were there on one of our cruises. I was just in St. Martin. St. Martin's awesome. Mexico, welcome. We'll be back shortly. Starbase 12 in the neutral zone. Oh, the Starbase 12 is along the neutral zone. That's pretty cool. North Dakota. Serbia. Welcome from Serbia. Welcome, welcome. We'll be back in about a minute. If you're on hold, hang in there. India, welcome. Scotland, welcome from Scotland. More Scotland, wow. We're very popular in Australia and in the UK. Got a lot of people who watch in Australia and the UK. Japan, welcome. Jakarta, welcome Jakarta. Did you go to school with Obama over there? Was it Jakarta in Indonesia where Obama lived? The Philippines, welcome. Yeah, we have a lot of people who watch in the Philippines as well. Okay, stand by. We'll be back shortly. If you're on hold, hang in there. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977. We're, of course, continuing to talk about the humiliation that Governor Newsome received 3 times yesterday nationally. I mean, 3 humiliations in a day, one worse than the one before. Oh, boy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Diego, and I'm calling from Kentucky. I really sit on both sides of the spectrum, and I really like Donald Trump. He's grown on like when I was younger when I didn't really like Trump, but now I've seen, especially since the Democrats ran for 4 years and ruined it. But 3 things I wanted to really quick get on to, and something I really wanted to talk about is why haven't we really talked about the shooter that has almost taken our president's life? We really haven't got nothing on him. I mean, nothing has came. I've been looking recently because I'm kind of interested in that.
Well, we know. You're talking about the Butler shooter or the golf course shooter. Which one?
Yeah, I know, that's crazy that there's 2. There's 2 shooters.
Well, yeah. What we know, both of them have multiple things in common, including a Ukrainian connection. And I always forget the name. What was the company? They were both in corporate videos for the same. Yeah, BlackRock. They're both in BlackRock videos. And there's a Ukrainian connection to both of them. I mean, and we, I wish Kash Patel would spend time getting to the bottom of that as opposed to sitting around with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, saying that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that Rogan interview was, what was the point of that, Kash Patel?
I mean, he was just sitting there, just mouthing off. And then last thing is.
Now, hold on one second here. I'll get the phones are ringing off the hook, guys. So if you're on hold, hang in there. Yeah, go ahead. Back to Diego. Go ahead, Diego.
With Trump's big beautiful bill, the one thing I am worried about is like health care for Americans. I mean, it could go both ways. Trump is right. It is up to the state on what they want to do. At the end of the day, it isn't Trump's decision federally. The states can decide on what they want to do and how they do it. And I understand that, I mean, we do need cuts. We are wasting...
The only thing that's being cut from Medicaid are the illegals that are illegally receiving it. They're doing away with that.
I didn't know that, really.
Because President Trump and his team have investigated it, and they estimate there's about 1.5 million illegals receiving Medicaid.
I had no idea that was...
Yeah.
I mean, because I've heard... It's for some regular Americans it was going to be cut, but
no, it's not going to be. You heard what the person you heard that from either was uninformed or lying. They're not cutting anything to Americans or even legal immigrants. But there's about 1.5 million illegals that are illegally receiving Medicaid benefits, and that's being cut.
All right. Well, yeah, thank you, man. Those are really just the real quick 2 things I wanted to run down.
All right.
Make America great.
All right. That's right. Diego in Kentucky. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Can you kill yourself?
No, I cannot. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Eric Russell from California.
All right, Eric. What's up?
I want to tell you one thing. The trucker, man, thank you for your hard work out
there. Well, give me 1 second here while I answer all these phones. The phones are just ringing off the hook. Yeah, the trucker. I mean, that's really sad. Truck driving, long haul truck driving used to be a very good, solid living, and he's telling us that he went from earning $3,000 a week to about $1,200 because of all the illegals that have been taking the jobs. But he's seeing them getting purged by the Trump Department of Transportation every day. So that's awesome.
Absolutely. I do drilling out here in California, and they've been cutting our hours, and they've been hiring more people that are making less wages.
Oh, you mean they've been hiring illegals to work on oil rigs?
Not oil, environmental drilling.
What's that? What's environmental drilling?
Soil sampling.
Okay. So they've been hiring illegals.
So
Drilling is a pretty
intensive.
it's expensive, but it's a high skilled job. I would think.
I heard the trucker and I thought, man, this is real.
See, this is one of the big lies, okay?
This is a big deal.
This is one of the big lies. Like Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's idiot son Wyatt in L.A. yesterday screaming, and he said, "Oh, who's going to pick the fruit? Who's going to clean your toilets?" The illegals are taking highly skilled jobs like truck driving, drilling. These are high skilled jobs that used to pay well, and not only are they taking the jobs, they're driving the wages down.
It is. My last race was terrible, and it's hard to live out here in California. I love my state. I hate my government, I'm a big-time Sheriff Bianco fan for governor, big time. I'm sorry to announce it to your audience, but I'm telling you, it's important because this guy's been fighting for us even during COVID. All of this stuff.
Well, here's the thing, in California, you guys in California, yesterday, NBC News said 10% of LA County are illegal. It's probably closer to 30%, right?
No, that's crazy wrong.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, absolutely higher than that.
And
I have coworkers that are Mexican that work with me. They are citizens, and they are amazing people, and they did not like Trump last election. This riot thing, they support him. It's crazy, but it's bringing up to a different level.
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of people in California are being red-pilled.
Absolutely, especially right now. Right now with riots, this stuff, they're upset that they saw the Mexican flag.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm seeing videos. They're showing me the videos of, look at this. I didn't come here for this. I came here, and I'm proud to be this.
Yeah.
This is not us, and this is making us look bad.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk too long. I know you have a lot of callers.
I do, but I want to say this before you go, though. I want to say
Yeah.
this to you before you go. These ICE raids are going to continue through Trump's entire presidency nationwide, and one of the places they'll be doing them is on Election Day out there. They'll be checking people in the parking lots at polling locations to make sure they're U.S. citizens.
I'll tell you another insider. My wife's a sheriff.
Oh.
Friday's going to be a hectic day.
Wait, we don't want to get into any intel. I appreciate the call, though. All right, let's see. Oh, no, we could take some more of these calls. Hold on. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Juan. I'm calling from Las Vegas.
Juan in Las Vegas. What's on your mind, Juan?
Hi, so I called in originally to, I got triggered by the comment all over the healthcare on the big beautiful bill, and then the guy that was just on the air that was talking about the fact that illegal immigrants we're going to get taken out of the health care and all that stuff. They never do get health care.
Yes, they do.
I don't know.
Sure, they do.
They don't.
Yeah, they do.
They don't get it.
Yeah, they do.
They don't. They
Yes,
don't
they do.
get it. They don't
Yes,
get
they
it.
do.
They don't qualify for it.
No, they do.
Their
So what happens?
children qualify
No,
for
they
it.
get it too.
They don't
What?
qualify for it.
By the way, what kind of
No, they
accent?
don't.
What kind of accent am I hearing? This isn't a Vegas accent.
I'm from LA.
Oh, so you have a Mexican. Oh, so this is a
born and
Mexican
raised from
accent.
LA.
So this is a Mexican accent.
A Mexican accent. This is not a Mexican accent.
You don't have. This is not. You don't sound like you're one of the Beach Boys. Okay, you do not have a Californian accent. You do not have an LA accent. You have a Mexican accent.
Okay, so what are you trying to imply here?
Well, I'm not implying anything. I'm sharing my observations. But see, you.
No. Well, the issue, the thing is, I called in to just address that issue because.
Hey, listen.
And
This is
adding into the bigotry.
No, this is not bigotry. This is not bigotry. It's an observation. It's an observation.
People are getting misinformed.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
I
I said this.
Members
Slow.
that have been through the legal system and they got adjustment of status through the right way, right?
Oh, okay.
But
No. Slow down. Excuse me. I'm going to discontinue the call if you don't let me talk. I am going to. You've got to take turns talking. What community is being unfairly attacked?
You just mentioned that as the immigrants in general. I mean, you guys.
No, it's
you
not
guys are going
immigrants.
there,
It's not
you guys are
immigrants.
attacking.
It's illegal immigrants. As an example, the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump, is a legal immigrant to the United States. Okay, we're not going. So it's not legal immigrants. It's illegal immigrants that are being rounded up and deported. And see what you don't even know. What you don't now. Excuse me. I'm not done speaking. And the observation I made about you was absolutely correct. I said, "What accent is this? It's not a Vegas accent. You told me you're from L.A. and you have a Hispanic Mexican accent." And you may not realize this, but your outlook on the situation in the United States is not the outlook of an American. You are not an Americanized person. Even if you were born in the United States, you don't think and have opinions based on an American mindset.
Yeah, a lot of the opinions that you guys might bring up seem, far right, like so far right.
So what?
Just crazy.
So what?
To someone,
From California.
I just feel like empathy is just out of the window. You know what I mean?
Listen. This was one of
they don't have due process.
They do have due process. Someone left a comment. Excuse me. Someone left a comment on one of my YouTube videos yesterday. It was a pretty sharp comment. It was such a good comment. I took a screenshot of it. I'm going to read it to you. Okay. This is what they wrote. They wrote this on my morning live stream yesterday. Never ever heard one liberal get angry over a U.S. citizen being a victim of an illegal alien. And that's so true. When you liberals like you or these Democrats in Congress or the media talk, it's all about the illegals. I never hear any sympathy for Americans.
Either party.
Americans are being victimized. Just last night in Los Angeles, where you say you're from originally, the looting that took place of the businesses the last 2 nights in Los Angeles. Those are Americans who have businesses. Now they've had their businesses ransacked and their inventory stolen. They can't do business today. I don't hear any sympathy for them. And by the way, they're Californians too.
They deserve sympathy.
But that's not what you called in about. That's not what Democrats are talking about. You guys are talking about these illegals that are sucking off of our system.
No, but you're referring to resources that they do not qualify for.
Really? So when an illegal adult, but they're an illegal. Excuse me. I'm going to ask you a question. When an illegal who's an adult, okay, they're an illegal from Mexico or Venezuela, one of the Latin American third world pits of hell, and they're illegally a resident of Southern California. When they get sick, like they get a cold or the flu, and they go to the emergency room, who pays for that?
Yeah, they do qualify for something called...
Oh, yeah, so they get the taxpayers. I pay for it. Taxpayers. Now, when I go, now if I go to the doctor, no. So if I go to the doctor, who pays for it?
No, but you can't overlook the fact that they do pay into the system as well.
No, they suck from the system. They go to the doctor, I pay for it. When I go to the doctor, who pays for it? When I go to the doctor, who pays for it?
Also Medicaid or whatever.
No, I don't have Medicaid. I make too much money for Medicaid. I don't even have insurance. I pay for it out of pocket. I pay cash when I go to the doctor. But these illegals, they get free health care. On me, I pay for theirs too.
They do not, but they don't qualify under the stipulations that the
they're not legally they don't, but they have fake docs to allow them to do it. Hey, listen, welcome to the show and thanks for the call. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our last break of the first hour and be right back. That's right. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe to the program. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free. It is pinned in the live chat. Oh, that was a great call. He made all my points for me. If you're on hold, hang in there. He didn't mean to, but he did. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go back to the phones after the break. Whoever left that comment, that was a great comment that they left on my YouTube. I don't know if I've ever taken a screenshot of a YouTube comment that someone made, but that one was a good one. Yep, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you are tuned in from. All right. We'll be back shortly, and I'll go right back to the calls. See, that guy's a nice guy. He, that last caller I was just talking to from Las Vegas, who's from Los Angeles, he's never had a conversation with a conservative about this before. So it's not that he's a bad guy. He's just been brainwashed in California, and he doesn't understand. He's never had a conversation like he just had. The LA accent has become the Mexican accent. It's changed. The accent has changed. Did the Beach Boys have that accent? I don't think so. Did Jan and Dean talk that way? I don't think so. The accent has changed. Yeah. We'll be back in less than a minute. Accents do not change all the time. No, they do not. There's American accents and then there's foreign accents. That's guys speaking English with a foreign accent. There certainly are different accents inside the United States. Southern accents, New York accents, but those are American accents. That is English with a foreign accent, not an American accent. We are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back to the phones we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hey, Brian. Cosmo from the Pacific Northwest.
Hey, what's up, Cosmo?
Good to hear you.
What's up?
Hey, buddy. I've been doing this for about 34 years. I think I found the epicenter and who started this riot. An assemblyman named Jose Luis Salachi Jr.
I don't know. What have you been doing for 30 years? You say I've been doing this for 30 years. What's that? Calling people on the phone and talking to? What have you been doing for 30 years?
Broadcast radio, CBS affiliate.
Oh, okay.
Television show for 15
Okay, so
years.
you're a fellow broadcaster. Okay, go ahead.
Correct. All right. So this joker was going on the freeway in the opposite direction and noticed U.S. Customs and Border Protection vehicles exiting Alondra Boulevard. He flips his car around, starts following them, and they pull up across the street from the Home Depot. So he immediately starts recording or posting an Instagram, and it just went wild. And down the street is where the people started gathering. That's where I.
Yeah, you're talking about you're talking about that joker who was giving out the location of the raids. Yeah, that the feds.
That was a kid.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is somebody else.
Wasn't that a kid?
Well,
no. This is a.
I'm not sure how old he looked. Young. He looked like he might be in his 20s. I couldn't tell. I don't know how old that guy was.
This guy's 54 years old, in that range.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So he spotted this caravan. He thought they were going to raid the Home Depot. There's a federal law enforcement facility in Paramount across the street from Home Depot, which is where these guys were going to park their trucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then it happened.
Yeah.
He just put the word out, and then I just heard of a new organization. I can't remember, CHIL something. They got $45 million from U.S. aid. They are the ones supplying these people. Watching the
Listen,
feed
all
tonight.
of these organizations are all funded by the Democrats at some point. If you go back far enough, I mean,
Correct.
different names and things will get thrown out, but it's all the Democrats in the end.
Right, but this is an NGO, just like the
Yes.
Catholic Church down on the border in El Paso.
Correct.
Alex Jones was standing there watching them herd them in.
Yes.
You remember that video?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Okay,
There's these
everybody
non-governmental
seems to forget
organizations.
all this
Absolutely,
stuff.
absolutely. Yeah, no, this is a
Right.
that's why and President Trump, he continues to refer to this in the last 24 hours as an insurrection, and that's exactly what it is. It is an organized I almost said something else. An organized insurrection, and the president's calling it out all the time. Hey, listen, welcome to the program, and it's good to hear from you. All right, let's go. Yeah, I got time for another call. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Jay from Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I turned my phone down.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Republicans, you know what an insurrection is. I find that very interesting.
Yeah, we learned from you. When you are interrupting the business of the federal government, you are taking part in an insurrection. And when you're interfering, and that would include federal law enforcement officers from ICE.
So you do know that was an insurrection on January 6th.
No.
Where they assaulted cops and
Nope.
you just let them out.
Nope.
Oh, see, there we go. There we go.
Nope.
You are the stupid idiot that I've ever seen. All of a sudden, you know what an insurrection is, but January 6th was an insurrection. Beating those cops. was
No,
an
in fact,
insurrection.
one of
But
the
these
one of
people
the
burning
a
a
couple
car
of
is an
things.
insurrection.
One of the things that the J6ers did not have that they have in the Battle of LA. What is it? What do the rioters in Los Angeles have that the J6ers did not?
Listen, beating those cops.
Okay, I'll tell. No. What they
People
don't have. What they.
People died. People died.
Yeah, Ashley Babbitt died.
Yeah, she died because of an insurrection.
She died because a incompetent police officer shot her. I'm going to excuse me. I'm speaking.
She was not allowed in that room.
All right. On January 6th, what they did not have that they have in Los Angeles are weapons. Weapons. What kind of insurrection is weaponless? Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
You know, I'm so sick of these never-ending complainers, perverters of the truth, saying, "Oh, President Trump had no authority to send in the National Guard." Yeah, the governors can send it in, but it doesn't say that the president can't send it. It's called the National Guard, not the California Guard.
Yes.
So of course he can.
No,
send
it's the California National Guard, but it can be federalized.
Well, yeah, it's, without a doubt. So it's federal.
But by the way, and it has been federalized, and I like this that he didn't ask for permission. Who is Gavin Newsome to be giving permission to the President of the United States?
Exactly. Other presidents have called the National Guard in. So I mean, these people are just
as an example, Republican President Eisenhower had to call in the National Guard when the Democrats wouldn't let African Americans integrate the public schools. Remember that?
Vaguely, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I remember right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so without a doubt, they just try to come up with anything. No matter what outside does, they come up with something that's whether it's true or not true. They don't care. They just say anything to be.
That's right.
You know, I was thinking Gavin Newsome is either, I know he's a liar, but I was thinking that he's an actor. But now I'm starting to think that he's insane. Anybody to say that I didn't get a call from the president and think he's going to get away with it, that's insane. There's something wrong with this guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's really amazing.
Well, Doug, I appreciate your staggering your calls around. You called early today, so that's good.
Yeah,
I appreciate you staggering your call. I appreciate the effort there.
All right.
All right, take care,
I
Conservative
totally-
Doug. I do appreciate that. Now, it is the summertime. It certainly is the summertime. Hot weather, the beach here in Florida, the swimming pools. It's a great time. And if you want to go to the beach in style or the pool in style and comfort for you, the kids, the grandkids, go to MyPillow.com. You know, right now at MyPillow.com, Mike Lindell has the 50% off beach sale going on. That's right, the 50% off beach sale. He has beach towels with so many different colors and patterns that are available. That's with our promo code Kane at checkout, by the way, Kane. The beach towels are 100% cotton. They're just as great as the bath towels, which I have, and I know a lot of you guys have. They're extremely durable. They're perfect for the beach, the pool. You can even use them in the bath or out of the shower. And of course, everything Mike Lindell makes is very high quality. Mike Lindell has beach towels, beach blankets, lounger beach towels, even kids towels, 50% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at MyPillow.com. You can also order by phone toll-free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Steve, and I'm calling from California.
Steve in California. What's on your mind?
I was just calling to find out, by any chance, since you guys all believe that there was military and National Guard down in L.A., did you guys find it funny that there was actually no military or National Guard there?
I saw them. I saw the National Guard yesterday on the streets of L.A. What kind of accent do you have? What kind of accent is this?
I was right there. Right in the front.
What kind of accent do you have? What kind of accent do you have?
What does the accent matter? What does the accent matter?
I'm trying to find out where you're coming from. I saw the National Guard all day long yesterday.
No, you did not.
What? Then, who were those guys? Then who were those guys in the uniforms, the army uniforms that said National Guard?
There was only. Can you let me talk? Can I talk?
Who were those guys I saw?
Like I just said right now, there was only a few National Guard.
Oh, so there were a few.
10, 15.
So there were National Guard there. Who were those soldiers I saw? Who were those soldiers I saw in front of the ICE facility that you guys have been attacking?
Well, no wonder nobody can talk to you, bro. You don't let nobody talk.
No, we got a break. We got a break. I'll put you on hold back after this. I put him on hold. I'll take his call after the break. Well, the reason I want to find out is where's he coming from, right? What's his status? What's the status of his family? Is he or a member of his family undocumented? That's why I'm asking. You know, he's probably watching online. I'm going to go back to him after the break. I have to take scheduled breaks on the radio stations. And the top of the hour break is what we call it a hard break. You get, no matter what, you get cut off if you don't take the break. I don't hold callers over through breaks very often. If you're new to the program, make sure that you subscribe, all right? Okay. We'll be back in about 1 minute. Less than a minute, we'll be back. I'm going to go back to that call. We'll find out. About 30 seconds. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. Dean, welcome, new member to the channel. Hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. I don't hold callers over too often, but I held this guy over. We had our top of the hour break, and you were calling us from California, so let's continue the conversation. What's on your mind?
Well, I mean, are we going to be able to have a conversation, or, I mean, am I going to be spoken over?
Well, we're going to have, what's going to happen is you and I are going to talk about, hold on a second, you and I are going to talk about the issues. That doesn't mean that I'm handing the show over to some guy on the phone from California,
hand me the show,
but we're going to have a conversation.
I understand that.
So what are your thoughts about this Mexican uprising in Los Angeles?
Like I said, let me finish. There was only a few National Guard members up in front of the federal building, and that was just for a photo op. There was no National Guard, no Marines, nowhere on the street at all, whatsoever. So this whole thing of, they're on the streets, there's 300 National Guard or 300 Marines deployed, that was all just a load of shit.
Okay, all right. Hit dump button for the first time. English may not be his first language, but he knows the profanity. If you're on hold, stand by as we wait for the delay to re-engage. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I really wanted to have a conversation with that guy. By the way, if you call back, I'm not going to talk to you. I held you over through the break, and you used profanity, okay? I don't hold people over through the breaks very often, and then you do that. We got rules. You can't use profanity. Oh, my goodness. And it's 1 call per day, so don't call back. If you get back on the air, I'm going to discontinue the call. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. While I'm waiting for the delay to re-engage, though, I want to play a couple of things. And, what's going on in Southern California right now is perfect. And it's going right along with what we need to happen in President Trump's second term. And what we need to happen is we need to get our country back from the damage that's been done by Biden in the last 4 years, but other presidents, many of them Republican, have been doing for a long time. And this illegal immigration issue has been a problem for years. And what President Trump is doing is something that other Republicans had promised to do, but never even attempted to do it. Okay, so Gavin Newsome, if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm just waiting for the delay to re-engage. This is him speaking to the people of California yesterday. Okay, so this clip is going somewhat viral because, he's pretending to cry, right? He's tearless crying. And you're going to hear a lot of this, and it started with Newsome last night. It is the 250th birthday of the United States Army. The Army is a year older than the United States because that great American Army that we have fought and gave us our independence from England. And it just so happens that it's on the president's birthday. That's a coincidence. My birthday is April 20th. I celebrate it every year with my family. That's also International Marijuana Day. Okay? 420? So when my family and I are celebrating my birthday, are we celebrating marijuana? No. When around the world people are celebrating the 420 holiday, are they celebrating my birthday? No. Everyone, there's only 365 days in a year. On everyone's birthday, there's all kinds of things going on. It's a coincidence, all right? I'm sorry. And this fake crying, can't you get Brad Pitt or George Clooney in there to teach you how to make the tears come so it looks like it's real crying? Okay, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's PJ from Broward.
Hey, PJ.
Hey, I'm seriously, I'm really astounded. Not by Gavin Newsome lying, but what the hell's going through his mind was an easily disprovable lie.
Because he's pathological. He can't help himself.
Well, I mean, seriously,
Well, and by the way, that screenshot, was that the president's cell phone or desk phone? I don't know which one it was. But when have you ever seen a president of the United States take a screenshot of the call log and send it to a television national anchor like that? It's never been done before. He probably thought he would never be proven a liar.
You're right. It's something mentally is wrong with Gavin Newsome. I mean, it's you know what? I'm going to be real interested in seeing what the news coverage on this. You know, how are they going to cover for him? Like, are they going to say he made a mistake or something, or what?
I don't know. And that fake crying, that was after he got the sound working. I loved it in the beginning when he started his speech and the audio wasn't working. That was brilliant. The competency is just astounding.
I didn't see that yet, but I want to see. Is there this video of him trying?
Yeah, I'm gonna play it in a little bit. Yesterday was a very humiliating day. Right? President Trump ended the night with that humiliation. His wife went shopping in Beverly Hills with a TV crew yesterday. I mean, it was just, and then the sound didn't work when he was addressing the people of California, and he was talking. He didn't know that his mic wasn't on. It was a bad day for Gavin.
Yeah, and you know what? An equally great day for President Trump, because did you see him speaking to the troops at Fort Bragg? I know you did. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that was great. The troops loved him.
Yeah, that probably really upset a lot of people in the media when they saw him cheering him on and everything, and they finished off with the YMCA song.
Yeah, did you see any transgendered soldiers behind him?
No, none that I know of, but
no, I didn't either. Hey, PJ, it's good to hear from you. Take care, man. Appreciate the call. All right, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. This is James Del Rey.
Hey, James.
How you doing today?
All right.
Let me take a listen, I just want to correct you on one thing, is that 2 people died that day. Roseanne Boylan died that day. She was stomped to death by the Capitol Police.
I forgot about that, yes.
January 5th.
Yes. Oh, well.
Okay? And that minister that was swinging the axe was trying to beat the cops off of her.
Yeah, I did forget about that. Yeah. So you were there on January 6th. Did you go inside the building? Did you go inside the building?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
Good.
I had my hands on the ladder to climb up over the wall. I said, "Why am I going to do this?" There was a guy on the wall screaming, "Push forward!" And that's exactly the words that Antifa uses: "Push forward, push forward." They
really?
can't stop us all.
So you had a guy behind you in front of the Capitol?
No, he was standing on the wall.
He was on the wall. One of the guys.
He was crossing over the wall.
Is he one of those guys that we see all the time in the footage? Have you seen?
No, they didn't show the guy standing on the wall. They just showed people standing on the
I see. He was, okay, so you saw an Antifa guy standing on the wall. You were at the bottom of the ladder, and what was he saying?
He's saying, "Push forward. They can't stop us all. Push forward."
Push forward? They can't stop us all? Oh, my goodness.
Yes, sir. And I said, "Why am I going to do this when the front door is open?"
Was he wearing MAGA gear? Did he have a MAGA hat on?
No, but he had a megaphone, and
a megaphone.
We don't carry megaphones.
Yeah, Antifa.
You know, I mean,
Antifa.
I did see guys switching over into Trump costumes, putting on Trump hats, getting out of there in Antifa gear. I did see guys having that. I have video of it all.
No.
I have video of them in a separate room.
Well, maybe do you have video of the guy that was telling you that they can't stop us all?
No, I don't have video.
No, that's too bad. Well, maybe you should call Dan. Maybe you should call Bongino and share your experience. Okay. Hey, appreciate the call. He's in that four-corner room being depressed all day. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Appreciate the call. He's in that four-corner.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, here we go. Once, twice.
Hello?
Yeah. Oh, you just made it. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Alex Jaber from Dalton, Georgia.
All right, Alex in Georgia. What's up?
I was listening to your show. This is the first time I've tuned in. Got my attention.
Mm.
And I was trying to put a fine point on the caller that was cursing, and he said that he only saw 15 people in L.A.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, that's the second largest city in the United States. He only saw 15 people in the second largest city in the United States that were...
Well, because he used profanity, I couldn't continue the conversation. But I wanted to know what he was doing. I wanted to know what he was doing. There were two things that I was going to find out from him. Okay, I asked him about his accent, which he was evasive about. So I wanted to find out if he would tell us his immigration status, and then second, I wanted to find out what he was doing so close to those soldiers to be able to count them like that. Right, but he used profanity. I didn't get into that, so that's where I was going with that caller, guys.
I completely understand it. It's like you only counted 15, and how many square blocks was this?
Well, they don't, there were more than 15 there, and however many were there, they seem to have done a pretty good job protecting the ICE bill. The National Guardsmen aren't there to police the city; they're protecting federal buildings. Okay, and if you notice, the attacks were not on the federal buildings, the ICE facility. They were on, sadly, stores and businesses that local people own. So that's what they're there to do, not to protect the city, to protect the federal buildings.
I was watching on Facebook Live, and I saw the jewelry district getting hit.
Oh, yeah. I wonder why that is. Coming to a pawn shop today, probably.
Building, so we're going to hit the pawn shop. We're going to hit, this sushi restaurant, this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, well, listen.
But, for somebody to say there was only 15 people.
No. Yeah. See, my guess is he's either undocumented or his family are, and he was in a place he shouldn't be if he's that close to the soldiers and counting them. Right? I mean, it's obvious. I mean, with that guy. All right, appreciate the call. All right, take care. All right, let's. Let me ask you this. This is a very important question I'm about to ask you, and in fact, it could be the most important question I ask of you in this listening audience today. Do you or someone you know or love suffer from neuropathy? Oh man, neuropathy is awful. It's painful. It may be considered a disability. If it's not, it should be. It really makes life unbearable. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in the hands and feet, dizziness, the feeling of pins and needles in the hands and feet, no feeling at all. These are some of the symptoms of neuropathy. And Steve had all these symptoms. And, we had an appearance coming up. We had our MAGA cruise coming up. And he's like, I don't know, I can't get out of bed with this neuropathy. I don't know if I can do this appearance. I don't know if I can go how am I going to go on a cruise if I'm in so much pain? I can't walk. I can't get up. And we went out and found Lighthouse Medical. Steve's doctor, his primary care physician, said there's no treatment for neuropathy. They were wrong. He even went to a specialist, a neurologist. The neurologist said, this is your life. Get used to it. That's crazy. And this was about 3 years ago. We found Lighthouse Medical. Steve went in. They have a treatment for neuropathy. It's a treatment that works. He went, it was either a Thursday or a Friday. I can't remember which day was his first appointment, but it was either a Thursday or a Friday. And I talked to him on the phone on Saturday, and his symptoms were already starting to disappear. And now, 3 years later, his neuropathy symptoms not only are gone, they've been gone for 3 years. So Lighthouse Medical not only has a treatment for neuropathy that works, it's a treatment that lasts because they treated Steve 3 years ago. Give them a call. By the way, they can help you no matter where you are located in America. Give them a call. They will help you with your neuropathy. And if you have any of these symptoms, give them a call and take advantage of the no-charge consultation. Find out if you have neuropathy. You may have neuropathy and don't know it. Here's their number, 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. Call us on hold, stand by. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. We'll be back shortly, and I'll go back to the calls. Yep. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, this is where MAGA comes to talk. This is the most pro-Donald Trump conservative program you will find anywhere. I promise you. You will love it here. And I live stream every morning taking live calls like I'm doing now, but I also upload my podcast here, and I do live streams throughout the day, all times of day and night. So that's right, MAGA for life, man. MAGA for life. Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, calls on hold, stand by. I'm trying to take the calls in the order in which they were received, but it gets a little difficult sometimes. Oh, okay, here's this person's been holding the longest. A little more than a minute, we'll be back. This is a radio station break. Let me know in the chat, how long have you been listening or watching me? How long have you been listening or watching me? A day, 5 minutes, 10 years? How long? I'm curious. 2 minutes. Well, welcome, Charles. Charles has been watching for 2 minutes. Well, we'll be out of the break in just a moment. 20 minutes. Well, welcome to you, McGruff. 20 minutes. An hour from Australia. Welcome to all of you. 9 seconds. Well, in less than a minute, we'll be back from our radio station break. And I'll go back to the calls. 6 years, 5 years. That's awesome. 19 seconds. All right, 10 years, welcome. We got about 30 seconds. Welcome. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. 22 minutes after the hour. This is Florida's longest-running radio show. Call us on hold, stand by. Our number toll-free, 888-465-2631. You know, George Clooney and CNN made the biggest mistake that's not been made since '94. Last night, I didn't see any of it. I read about it. I knew it was coming, but I thought they would have rescheduled it. Wasn't it last night that CNN had that George Clooney live play that they did about Murrow? Good night, good luck. You know, there is an American city is under attack. An American city is being burned and looted. And George Clooney does a play on the cable news network, CNN. They should have rescheduled that. The last time there was a television event scheduled that was such a disaster, you know what it was? The Baywatch concert. There was this pay-per-view special that Hasselhoff set up, the Baywatch concert, and it just so happened to be the night of the O.J. Simpson Bronco chase. So no one watched it, and that was the end of Hasselhoff, and that was a disaster. They lost millions. And last night, nobody wants to see George Clooney really any night of the week these days. He used to be a TV star. He used to be a movie star for 5 minutes. But when an American city is being burned down by lunatic foreign activists and an invading army of illegals and Antifa, they don't want to watch George Clooney do a play. That was just stupid. I've never seen something so dumb. You know, the Baywatch thing, that was a pay-per-view event and a concert. This could have been moved. You're on the air, and they didn't know the chase was coming. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Never Trumper Steve here in beautiful Palm City, Brian.
Okay.
2 points to clarify with you. Now, I turned on the radio at the very, very tail end of your show this morning, but I believe I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, that there was a call between Gavin Newsome and the president late Friday night into Saturday. Is that correct?
Gavin Newsome said he got no calls from the president, and the president sent the call log to John Roberts of Fox News, and he shared it with a visual on Fox. So Gavin lied.
It being when was the call? Friday night.
Oh,
I think that's what I heard.
You're gonna say, well, he said a day ago, and it wasn't a day ago from the press conference. Is that really what the story you're gonna run with?
It's funny how you know what the truth is.
No, I know the talking points that you liberals have.
Let me give the facts to your audience. That's what's important. That Monday in the Oval Office, the president was asked, "When did you last speak to the governor of California?" And he answered, "Yesterday."
It was yesterday. It was today is Wednesday. The president said that yesterday, which was Tuesday, not Monday.
No, it was Monday, but you want to change.
No,
I
saw it live.
Anyway.
It was the press conference in the Oval Office yesterday. I was watching it live. It's the one when they were talking about the forest stuff. I saw it yesterday.
Okay. I believe you're incorrect, but
I watched it live yesterday afternoon. In fact, I played a clip of it. I played a clip of it on my podcast last night.
I don't want to get into an argument over one day. Everyone's
well, yeah, no, you were wrong. Now I'm glad you called, because one of the listeners to the program left a comment on one of my YouTube videos about you liberals out there. And since you weren't listening earlier, you didn't hear this when I brought it up in the first hour. So I'm going to read it to you.
Right.
And this is what they wrote. Okay. And this comment they made was on my YouTube video for yesterday's show in the morning. Never ever heard one liberal get angry over a U.S. citizen being a victim of an illegal alien. And I got to tell you, when you guys call the show, all I hear you doing is defending these foreign invaders, occupiers, and colonists that are in our country illegally. You guys never call in about the people that are being victimized by these people.
No, I never. When they commit a crime, they should be deported. That is
okay.
My feeling,
so tell us. You know, in the last, since you're concerned about being recent, in the last day, 24 hours or so, can you share some sympathy you have for U.S. citizens that are being victimized by these liberal agitators, activists, and foreign invaders in Los Angeles?
I say the same thing that the governor has said and the mayor of Los Angeles said. If you commit a crime, if you do graffiti on the
Can you be
buildings,
more specific?
anything that's illegal.
Can you be more specific?
That is specific.
No,
Okay,
and you're only doing it because I asked. Like as an example, last night, a lot of people's businesses were yet again looted by.
Yes, and they should be arrested and go to
but
jail.
But you don't.
They should.
But you're only commenting on them when asked. I have to pull it out of you. Why is it that your first offense is no? Why is it that your first instinct is to defend these foreigners and violent people and those who are collaborators? You know, Gavin Newsome is a collaborator. He is a collaborator with an occupying force in Southern California, the Mexicans.
Can you clarify your point that you made that President Trump did the opposite on January 6th in comparison to the governor? What did you mean by that? Because you stopped.
Because when he gave his speech on January 6th, he said, President Trump said, peacefully let your voice be heard, peacefully. And what Gavin Newsome and others are talking about is taking this to other cities.
Are you forgetting President Trump sitting in the lunchroom for over 2 hours watching cops' heads being bashed
This is not, listen, President Trump wanted to bring the national, President Trump wanted to bring the National Guard in by the thousands, and Nancy Pelosi said no. All right, but I'm sorry to let you go, but we're not talking about January 6th today. We're talking about the battle for Los Angeles. All right, callers on hold, you stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be back. Wow. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. This is our bottom of the hour break for the radio station. And then we'll be back, and I'll go back to the calls. Yep. If you're on hold, hang in there. We're going to go right back to the calls after the break. I mean, you know, I've talked to how many liberals on the phones today? You know, how many? Have you? And the only time they, if they even bother to be critical of what's going on, it's because I pull it out of them. They never volunteer. We'll be back in about a minute, just over a minute. The opposing viewpoint to my analysis of this issue is liberal, Jordan, but you're welcome to call. I'd love to talk to you. You don't have to agree with me to call. And if you think I'm short with the callers, I got a break schedule I have to take on the radio. Like that last caller, Never Trumper Steve, I was late on that break to continue the call as long as I did. This is a radio show. We're on a bunch of FM radio stations. I'm based out of Florida. We got about 30 seconds and we'll be back. By the way, those of you that are new, welcome to the program. You will love this program, I promise you. Make sure you subscribe. All right, here we go. Welcome, everyone. We are back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Back to our busy phones. We shall go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Hall.
Hey, Renee.
Hey, yeah, you got to remember this. Saul Alinsky, he wrote rules for radicals, not racists. So rules for racists does not apply to you. So you shouldn't use his technique. Okay?
I have no idea. I read rules for radicals when Obama first got elected, so I could understand what Obama was all about, but I don't understand the reference today.
It's obvious you did because you tried to use his technique and try to flip it for your benefit, but it backfires because it just makes you look like the bigot that you are.
I missed that part of the program. Maybe you can refresh my memory.
Please, I'm not trying to follow your stupid career, okay? You're a racist, and it's obvious as Ray Charles, all right?
Obvious as Ray. Yeah, okay, whatever. And you've got nothing to say. That's obvious to anyone with ears. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's James again. I'm just calling in response to stupid Steve, Never Trumper Steve. Let me tell you something. It says they entered the country illegally means they're lawbreakers. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steve is an idiot. Why do you have him on? Have a great day, buddy.
Well, just the other day, Steve, somebody said, "Well, yeah, I get this a lot. We hear this a lot. Why do you talk to these liberal jerks?" On Friday's show, if you remember, we got a call from a guy who's a longtime listener to the program, African-American gentleman, and he's hardcore MAGA. He loves Trump, but that wasn't always the way. He listened to us for years. He was a liberal. He hated us. He hated all this stuff, and he's been red-pilled. He woke up, in large part by listening to this program. So, and if you listen to these liberal jerks, I make all my points through them. You just got to listen on a little higher level. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, America. It's the man from Lake Worth.
All right,
hey,
Lake Worth.
Real quick, it's entertaining when you speak to liberals. That is fun and entertaining to hear. I just want to make a statement real quick and then back it up.
There we go.
I believe you do not. I believe you do not live in reality. The reason why is because I've spoken to you 3 times, and I told you that I have.
I know exactly who you are, and I know everything about you. You think I'm that stupid? I mean, give me a break. You know, if you notice, every liberal on the line today, what are they doing? Every single liberal, what are they doing? They're trying to get us to talk about anything other than the great work that President Trump is doing. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Liberal on the line today.
My name is Proud Democrat Prince. I am a Democrat. You are a fool, man. You hate the truth. You hang up on people.
Turn down the volume behind you. I can't understand you. You got to turn down the volume where you're listening. Turn down the volume.
I'm a proud Democrat. You are a fool. If we are liberal, you are in a cult. I'd rather be a liberal than a Trump supporter. Trump played you, man. You got played by a felon, dude. You call people names. You're a racist. I'm suing. I'm calling a lawyer. I'm suing you, dude. You cannot label people.
Okay. All right. Goodbye. Goodbye. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Will. I'm calling from South Florida.
All right, Will.
So, okay, I have just one question for you. Now, I like the work that you do. I like you. But I just want you to tell me, I want you to make it make sense. When you say that Nick Fuentes is nothing but a liberal.
I've never said that.
What makes...
I never said that.
No.
And I want to tell you, excuse me, I never talk about him. And another thing is, I want to tell you this. I know you're recording me and trying to get me to say something about him, and it's not going to happen. All right? Take care. Oh, my goodness. I've been doing this a long time. Again, another liberal wants to talk about anything other than what we're really facing. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Charles. I'm calling from California. I just want to say,
No. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Rich from New York.
Hey, Mitch.
How are you, Brian?
All right.
Yeah, man. I just called to say that anybody who came here illegal should be deported. I don't care if it's my brother, if it's my sister. You broke the law. By coming here illegally, you already broke the law. That makes you a criminal.
Yeah.
And I'm glad Donald Trump. I'm glad Donald Trump.
And you're calling me. Listen. You're calling me from New York, but you're not originally from New York. You're a legal immigrant from where?
From Haiti, and I came here the right way.
Okay. So this is an interesting thing because I'm going to ask you. I got a call from an American citizen in New York in the first hour of the program. He's a naturalized U.S. citizen. He's originally from Mexico. And I asked him a question that I'm going to ask you. I keep hearing on the liberal media, right, and from Democrats talking at press conferences and others, that legal immigrants like you are living in fear that you'll mistakenly be picked up and deported. Do you worry about being deported back to Haiti?
Not at all, because I'm a U.S. citizen for one, and if you're here legally, you will not be deported, because America is not stupid. Technology is not stupid. They will realize that you're legally living here. They will not deport you. So the left-leaning media trying to make people fear by saying, let me tell you something. I don't watch those CNN, MSNBC. To me, they're like a political party. Democrat communists. That's how I call CNN, MSNBC, CBS. They're all communists.
Yeah.
They want to turn this beautiful country to a third world country.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. I came here because my country, I didn't have the security. That's the reason why I'm here. I was running fear. Okay? So now, if they want to turn America to a third world country, thank God Trump is the president of the United States. And I hope on his 4 years he's going to be in power. Clean this up. I don't care if you have to use the military court. Clean it up.
Yeah.
Make America great again.
Well, listen, I appreciate the call. A legal, naturalized U.S. citizen from the anarchy of Haiti. Now, I'm not the man I used to be. In fact, I'm only about 3/4 of the man I used to be, right? I used to be a bigger man because I lost all this weight thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And, today is one of those days. I talk a lot about my shirts because that's one of the places I notice it. I'm wearing this shirt that I have on today. It's something called a Roosevelt shirt. They're kind of comfortable for the Florida weather. And this is another one of my shirts that when I was wearing it just a few short months ago, I could wear it, but it was almost like a girdle. It was so tight. And if I saw myself in the mirror from a profile, you could tell, I was pushing out the body, I had a little bit of a belly going on. And this shirt fits exactly like it's supposed to be fitting. I look down, it's completely flat all the way to the floor because my stomach is flat. I've lost so much weight thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I've done this by eating foods I would normally eat. I'm not taking any prescription medications like Ozempic or anything, and 0 exercise. And it's absolutely amazing. Coastal Weight Loss Secret works. You can do it too. And I know a lot of you have, because I've been hearing from men and women in this audience who have taken my advice, gone the Coastal Weight Loss Secret, and they've lost boatloads of weight too. I look great. I feel great, and it's really awesome. I really, it's just amazing. And you know, when I see pictures of me from the beginning of January, was the end of January, because it was Inauguration Day, and then a week after Inauguration Day is when I started Coastal Weight Loss Secret. So if you go back and you look at videos of me from the first online on YouTube, from the first week of January, and then before that, you'll see the difference in how I look then and how I look now. And it's a tremendous difference. My face, I have the definition back. I have jaw structure. I've got my chin back, my neck. I got a tiny little neck now. It's amazing. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call, okay? When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlasssecret.com. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back shortly, and I'm going to go back to the calls. And if you're on hold, hang in there. I want to play this audio of a soldier, a lady soldier, who just might find herself court-martialed. Have you seen this? Oh, boy. I promise you, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has seen it. And the president, if he's not seen it, he'll see it too. What is she? I can't see. Is she a sergeant or a corporal? I can't quite tell on the angle. I think she's a sergeant. I think that's 3 strike. Yes. We'll be back in just over a minute. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. Welcome back. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We very well may see a court-martial come out of this LA battle that's going on. There's a video of a U.S., I'm not sure if she's U.S. Army or California National Guard, but there is a lady sergeant in uniform at ground zero of Battle for LA. And I think this is clean, but Mike, we'll be careful on the dump button. I did listen to this. I think it's okay, but let's be careful on the dump button. She is in uniform. She's in her fatigues. And I can't tell with these, they've got some graphics covering up some of the insignia. So I can't tell if she's Army or Marines, but she is, I'm not sure. But she is talking about the deployment of the Marines, so I'm assuming she's a Marine, but she could be Army, she could be National Guard. I'm not sure, but she is in uniform. She is a sergeant. And let me play, then we'll talk. Okay, nope, she is Army. She is Army. I can see on her uniform, U.S. Army. And resist. She's calling for a military uprising. So, oh my goodness. Now, I am sure that our great Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, has seen this. If the president has not seen it, he will. So, no matter what her status is, she's in trouble. If she is currently in the Army, she is going to be court-martialed if Pete Hegseth sees this. And I'm sure he's seen it. He's had to have seen it. People have had to make this known to him. If she is currently a sergeant in the Army, she will be court-martialed. If she's ex-military and she's brought her uniform out of the closet, she's also in trouble because what she said at the end, she is calling for an military uprising against the President of the United States. That is calling for an insurrection. She said, our oath to serve, which implies that she's active duty, but we don't know. Resist evil. So she's calling on a military uprising of current and veterans against the commander-in-chief. Holy smokes. She's in trouble. Whether she's in the military or not, if she's in the military, she's in a whole bunch of trouble. All right. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Nope. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, I think you're. I'm from California, and I think you're a faggot.
Okay, well, then I would fit in out there, I would imagine. What's wrong with being that? You know, I don't understand why someone who's liberal from California would think there's something wrong with being homosexual, someone being gay. I mean, that's the land of Harvey Milk, right? San Francisco. I thought gays were tolerated and welcomed in California. Why would calling me one be such an insult? I don't understand. All right, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Dustin from Louisiana.
Hey, Louisiana. What's on your mind?
This woman, she's trying to start an uprising or a coup or something.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
Right. I mean, what do we do now? I mean,
what do you mean?
As a country.
Well, listen. If she's, we don't know if she's currently in the military or not. Okay, we don't know.
Okay.
But if she is, she's going to be court-martialed. If she's ex-military, she's still calling on a military uprising. So she's calling for an insurrection. So these are things that are not allowed.
Right. This is difficult for somebody like me, who's just I'm a civilian, but I got to talk out about it.
Yeah, it's scary. You know, this is what happened. I mean, this is what's, you know, when Donald Trump talks about making America great again, see what has taken over our country? This country, it's not just these corrupt Democrats that are in power. The last generation or two have been brainwashed into crazy thinking about all kinds of things about this country on top of the invasions that have taken place with the illegals. This country was on the verge of collapsing into, you know, like to non-existence. Yeah, we were about to lose our country completely. And thankfully, President Trump was reelected. Hey, appreciate the call from Louisiana. All right. Well, I'll take another call or two, and then we'll bring up some more stuff. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right. They thought better of it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
David from North Carolina.
Yeah, David.
I have gone through about 6 of the places that I normally listen to your program online, and all of them have said this venue is inactive. It's not until the 6th or 7th.
Well, none of that's true. You know, unless we're offline on one of the online platforms, whatever you're seeing is a coincidence.
Well, I'm just telling you what's been happening over the past several weeks. One by one, you've been disappeared.
No, none of that's true.
Yeah.
Where were you listening that we're no longer at?
The oldies.
No, a couple of weeks ago, there were some technical problems with our online audio feed on the True Oldies station on iHeartRadio, maybe a couple of the other streams. That's all back up and running. Those were just technical glitches that were worked out.
Well, I'm telling you, it was about the 6th or 7th place that I tried today to get.
No, there's nowhere where we're not today. I appreciate the call. You know, I want to talk about that what that guy was talking about there. This is such amazing, you know, I love doing a live show. You know, last night George Clooney did that thing that no one watched. He wanted to do a live performance. And doing a live show like this is really amazing. And a couple things about it. We often talk, if you're on hold, stand by, because, well, first I'll talk about Sloman's, and then I'm going to address that caller. And I'm going to share what that caller was attempting to do, okay? And this is an old trick that liberals do. You know, and when you're doing a show live and you're connected to the audience, it's, you know, when we're on the radio in the mornings, you guys know I live stream on YouTube. I got a couple of live feeds with a chat room. And the whole time when I'm on, there's people in there talking, saying things. It's crazy. But that call was an interesting call. But first, let me tell you about the free doorbell camera offer from Sloman's. Sloman's is offering you, with the installation of your Sloman Shield, a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone. And you get a notification on your cell phone anytime there's movement in the front of your house. It's absolutely amazing. And these doorbell cameras, the footage is amazing. You see it oftentimes in the news. During those LA fires, Did you see any of that footage from people's front doors? You're wondering who's standing there with a camera getting that footage. It's the doorbell cameras, right? There's nobody there with their iPhone. They're getting the camera. They're getting the footage off the app on their cell phone from the doorbell camera. That's television quality stuff. Remember the Venezuelan gang members that took that building in Colorado over a few months ago that started everything that we're going through now? That was taken off one of the neighbors inside that apartment building, her doorbell camera. So the footage is amazing that you get. They're not only going to give you, with the installation of your Sloman Shield, a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone. Sloman's is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, a backup battery, plus you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call, toll free, 1-833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. So that last caller, you know, there's been a lot of callers, if you've noticed, trying to disrupt the program today, using various techniques, getting us off topic, you know, forcing me to use the dump button and such. One of the tactics that's not as commonly used is leftists will call and try to get people to tune away by saying this isn't working, the sound's not working. So you'll stop listening and go to some other place and try to find it. Whatever they can do to disrupt the show, I love it, because that tells me when we're on their radar that we're doing something right, okay? 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. If you're on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. We've seen all the tricks. We'll be back right after this break. If you're on hold, hang in there, guys. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, okay? We'll be back. In about a minute. If you're on hold, hang in there. About 30 seconds or so, we'll be back. We're back. Hour number 3 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show. We're talking about the incredible work that President Trump is doing, retaking the state of California back for America from the occupiers out there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once.
Hello. I'm just wondering why for the past 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lenny from Coconut Creek.
Hey, Lenny.
How you doing today?
Great.
What's happening right now, we can't forget about what happened in 2020 with the riots from George Floyd. We watched every federal building, every precinct.
Mm-hmm.
It started in one city, one liberal city. Every liberal mayor, every liberal governor sat back as we watched every.
Well, if you remember
down.
that idiot that ran with Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, his wife was talking about how she enjoyed the smell of the burning tires and the city burning down when she opened from her window. Remember that? From the governor's mansion.
Actually, yeah. And thank God the army, if Trump did not implement the National Guard outside the ICE administration building, it would have been attacked. How could they?
He said what he did was he stopped the trend from taking place around the country. Hey, appreciate the call, Lenny. Yeah, this was their plan. All right, I'll take another couple calls, and I got some stories I do want to cover. Oh, hit the wrong line there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff. What's up?
I always would love to see Real America Voice, Fox, and other real news media outlets show the comparison from the J6 to what's going on now.
Yeah.
Because it's night and day, Brian. It's so obvious. And this is all on the Democrats. They called for this publicly to do this. All kinds of Democrats, and they're doing it. Why aren't they held accountable for telling people to do it and having them actually do it?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
It's bizarre that this is going on, and I don't believe that woman in those fatigues is in the military.
I wouldn't be so sure. I wouldn't be so sure. I mean, we don't know, okay? But she does have a proper uniform on properly, so it's not stolen valor. She's either current military or recently former military. Okay, but even
thinking maybe former.
You want to think that because you're a veteran and you don't want to think about veterans that way. But look at But look at the commander in chief we had the last 4 years. The military is filled with people that don't understand. Okay, so it's very possible she is a sergeant in the U.S. Army currently.
And if that's true, she will be court-martialed.
And her glasses, her eyeglasses, she was wearing glasses, and they do look like the kind that are Army issue. They don't look like the kind you go and buy at LensCrafters.
Well, if she's out protesting during the day, she's AWOL from doing her job.
That is a court-martial offense.
Yes, it is. And, Brian, where's our, the military is supposed to be unbiased. in uniform. You're not supposed to take political stands.
Well, it's a
and all
crime.
that.
It's a crime to do it.
Yes, it is. But to call out violence
And
in
if you,
uniform.
well, listen, if you remember General Milley, when Trump was president of the United States and commander-in-chief, he came out and released a video that he played for all the military personnel denouncing President Trump going to the church, remember? So, I mean, and he was a 4-star general. So if a 4-star general can do it, a 3-stripe sergeant certainly can. In their mind.
True. And just a quick question on.
See,
what's
no.
going on with
Let me
China
explain though to this one about this sergeant. If she's current military,
Okay.
you know these people are sicko and brainwashed, and what they tell themselves is this: well, you know, just following orders. If you follow unlawful orders, you're a criminal, right? The Nazi generals. So what she's saying is, we're not following unlawful orders, and she considers these orders to be unlawful. That's what she's saying. She's
That's what she directly said, that
Yes.
she didn't have to follow orders.
That's right. That's right. So yeah. So she thinks that the commander-in-chief is Hitler. She's been so brainwashed.
And to promote that publicly on a live broadcast just goes to show you how ignorant they are.
See, we don't know if she's current military or not. It's 50-50. But I would not be surprised with what we've. I mean, look at what they did to the military the last 4 years, right? Transgender generals and admirals and colonels and stuff. Come on, this is, you know, the type of thing I would expect in the military. And if she's a sergeant with 3 stripes, she probably went in either at the end of Trump's first term or during Biden's term early on. And, you know, so so it's very possible she's active duty or reservist.
Did you see that they're showing pallets of cinder blocks being dropped off at these protest sites?
Yeah.
And they're smashing police cars?
Well, how the heck did they get there? Not just who bought them and took them.
I heard it was George Soros.
Well, nobody.
No, paid people $1,250 to go there and protest.
I don't think anybody knows that. But I'd like to. I don't know if we have identified who's paid for them, but I'd like to know how you drive around in a truck filled with cinder blocks in downtown LA with this garbage going on, and the LAPD don't stop you. Right?
That's a good question.
If you got a burned out tail light, they'll stop you.
Yeah.
If you make a running stop at a stop sign, they'll stop you. And if you're driving around with cinder blocks, they don't stop you? Come on.
I'm saying that Newsome is part of the problem because he's telling President Trump to arrest him. I love to see that happen.
Yeah. All right. Good to talk to you. Jeff from Maine. Good points. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Mike.
No. All right. You know, let me get back. Oh, my goodness. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number, 888-465-2631. Let me recap some things, and I got a lot I haven't even gotten to. But I'll try to get to as much as I can in the remaining time we have today. But if not, that's what my podcast is for. You guys listen to my podcast. Gavin Newsome yesterday had the worst day of his life. It was a day of total humiliation for Gavin Newsome. And he had more than one instance. He had 3 instances of humiliation. Let me see what time it is. Do I have time for these? You know what? Let me take the break. And then after the break, I'm actually going to take the break just about 30 seconds early because I want to go through this. I have never seen a sitting high-level politician. You know, governor of California is a big deal. Okay? It's a big state. It's not like being the governor of a tiny state. You know, it's a big state. Huge chunk of the population and everything else. It's a higher up job than being the president or prime minister of most of the countries of the world. And I've never seen someone at that level humiliated so much over and over again. And I got to share it with you. So I'll do that after the break. But before we break, I want to tell you guys about Joe Thomas. You know, Joe Thomas is amazing. I have heard people talk about annuities all my life, and I never really truly understood them. I heard a lot of guys on the radio talking about them for years at different radio stations that I worked at. And I met with Joe Thomas. He explained annuities to me, and in about 5 minutes, probably a little less, but in no more than 5 minutes, I said, why is not everyone not doing this? It was really amazing. You know, with annuities, your money is not at risk. No matter what happens in the stock market, the ups and downs, your money is not at risk. You work hard for your money, especially when you're retired and you're not in the workforce anymore. You're not bringing in money like you used to, so you don't want to take those risks. I never want to take a risk. I want a sure thing. That's what an annuity is. So not only is your money not at risk, you're guaranteed income for the rest of your life that you can take in many different forms. You can get it monthly if you want. It's amazing. And I asked Joe Thomas, he was, one of the times he was in studio recently, because annuities are for everyone. Right? They're for working class people, middle class people, upper middle class people, and there are high net worth wealthy people that also are people who get involved with annuities. And I said to Joe Thomas, I said, when you have someone who's a wealthy, high net worth person and someone who is a working class person with the Social Security, what are the different things that these two people want when they come to you and talk to you about annuities? He says the same thing, an income stream. That's exactly right, an income stream. And that is for the rest of your life, guaranteed at your retirement. It's amazing. Joe Thomas is offering free phone consultations, which you can take advantage of no matter where you are located in the United States. And he's a top guy in the industry. I want you to understand the value of this no-charge consultation you're getting from Jupiter Joe Thomas. He's been in the retirement planning industry for over 30 years, and he's a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, which is achieved by fewer than 1% of all financial advisors in the world. Yeah, so he's an elite top man in the industry, and he's offering you a free phone consultation. Pretty good deal, huh? Give him a call. Here's his number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website. It's easy to remember, jupiterjoe.com. That's jupiterjoe.com. We'll be right back. There we go. We are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Call us on hold, stand by. This is amazing. The humiliation that Gavin Newsome went through yesterday was the biggest humiliation a politician currently in office has dealt with at his level during a crisis, I'm here to tell you. Right? His state is burning down. Southern California is a war zone because of Gavin Newsome. Yesterday, his wife went shopping with a Starbucks in hand, and bodyguards and the press. Gavin Newsom's wife went shopping in Beverly Hills, which, by the way, is in Los Angeles, for those of you who don't know. And she's smiling at the press, and she went in all dressed up with a fancy purse and a security detail and made sure that the paparazzi and the press were there. Why did she do that? The only reason a wife would humiliate her husband so publicly while the city burns going shopping on Rodeo Drive, there's only two things I can think of. One, she's upset. She thought she was going to be the First Lady of the United States, and he's blown that. Or her husband's cheated on her, and she found out about it. Those are the only two things I can think of. I'm not saying either are true, but those are the, a wife, especially a political wife, okay? And I promise you, Gavin Newsome did not know that his wife was going to go shopping in Beverly Hills on Rodeo Drive yesterday, at least not until it was too late, and she was there, because he would have done everything he could do to stop her from this humiliation. She went out, the man is humiliated by his wife during the battle for Los Angeles. That's one, okay? I mean, that's really bad. I've never seen a wife do that to her husband, who's one of these politician wives. Usually the politicians, their wives, no matter what they do, stand by. Remember the Clintons on 60 Minutes? I'm not, remember all that? Remember the Lewinsky? They always stand by their husbands, these wives. But Gavin Newsom's wife humiliated her husband. She goes shopping in the most exclusive shopping district in the city that is being burned down. Then, these are in no particular order. These are just in particular of my fun order. Then he's butched up now. He's gonna take control. He's going to address the people of California. He's going to address the people of California live on television. He even texted Hannity last night, was on television. He said, I just got a text from Gavin Newsome. He wants to know if we're going to cover his speech. So not only is he's going to take charge from Donald Trump, he's making sure everyone knows, even personally texting Sean Hannity. And then this happens. Okay, so his microphone is off, but he's speaking. He has no idea, and this is from CBS News national feed. So first, his wife humiliates him with the Rodeo Drive Beverly Hills shopping trip. This was no accident, what happened with Gavin Newsome. Someone on his technical team muted the mic to make him look like a joke, okay? Make him look like a joke. So then, I know these are all bad. He's had a bad day. Does he drink? I know he drinks wine because he was having wine parties during the lockdowns. Remember the maskless Napa Valley wine parties he was having when everybody else was locked down and getting arrested for breaking those things? So I watched the president's Oval Office event yesterday, which has always turned into a press conference. And they had asked, because Gavin Newsome had said that the president hadn't talked to him before he took control of the National Guard. And he said, well, I talked to him about a day ago. Something like that. Gavin Newsome called the president a liar, said they never spoke. So President Trump did something that I have never seen a president do, ever. And I love it. he took a screenshot, and now I couldn't tell if this was the president's cell phone log or a landline phone, but the President Trump, he took a screenshot of the phone log on the phone itself showing that he called Governor Newsome. The first time, Newsome didn't answer. And then the second time, it showed they spoke for 16 minutes. But remember, Gavin Newsome said the president even called him. So the President Trump took a screenshot of that call log and sent it to Fox News anchor John Roberts. And then he went live with a breaking alert news sounder on Fox News Channel. Listen. Wow. So here's President Trump at 1:22 a.m. That's right. Oh man, so that is like the worst possible day that during a crisis that I've seen from somebody at his level currently holding office. The wife betrayed him. Somebody on his staff sabotaged his address to the state during the crisis. And then the president exposed him for what he is. A no good liar. Oh my goodness. All right. Our number is toll free, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
Hey. The craziness continues in California, and I look at the Democrats from a big macro. You know, when you look at everything in California and throughout the country, I mean, you look at our country, how we were founded, you know, Old and New Testament, you know, obviously religious, but, you know, books of history, wisdom, and moral guidance. And the Democrats don't like that. I mean, they're lying. You can't have morality when you constantly lie all the time. They work off of the I don't know Testament, because they're running LA and California, hell, they're, the burning flames of hell.
Yeah.
You know, they're just destroying. I mean, I look at, no water for the fires, no train. This train it's going to end up costing $100 billion plus, if in fact they even go forward.
See,
what's laissez-faire, the Kevin Bacon 7 degrees of remain calm, all is well.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Marines here. There's no. It's all peaceful.
And we've heard all the tech, and here's the thing. Obviously, there's a lot of. I wasn't alive during the Watts, but I was alive and covered the Rodney King riots in '92 on the air. Okay.
A lot of Marines.
There's a lot of comparisons between the Rodney King riots and this. The Rodney King riots were god-awful and bad, and a lot of people were killed, and it was a terrible thing. And I think the severity of it is lost because it was so long ago, unless you remembered it and were there. But a couple things
it was more severe, without a doubt,
yeah. Because, of a lot of reasons. But if you remember, though, we didn't have going on then what we have now. Rodney King himself came out immediately and tried to stop it. Can't we all just get along, go home? He was trying to stop. Out in California, the officials have been egging it on. That's one thing. But what's happened is, you know, the LA riots were mostly in that south central Los Angeles area, which now is called South LA. They changed the name because of the riots, probably.
Yep.
And it was South Central wasn't a small area, and it was violent, and people were sadly killed, and Reginald Denny and people lost their businesses, and it was. I'm not saying that it was bad, but it was isolated to a particular area. What we've seen now is that Los Angeles County has fallen. It is completely occupied by a large number of foreign invaders, and they're waving flags of a foreign nation, Mexico, saying this is our land and we're not giving it back to the United States. You know, this is a totally different situation than the LA riots.
Because of the illegal aliens, 100%. It is more of an actual foreign army on our soil. You know, it's you know, I mean, listen, the Democrats have mastered the sort of the Chia Pet riot system. You know, you forget they just add. They don't have water in LA, but you add money, and you know, add money. You show up at your local NGO
That's right.
riots or us, you know.
That's correct.
Office, and you choose your color, and you know, whatever color scheme you want on your signs and your package. Do you want the gold or the bronze? And you get the end of times discount. I mean, it's all so frigging. It's a frigging. It is Hollywood. It's a production. A lot of the things we're seeing, and then, but then again, you do get the useful idiots, the DUIs, the Democrat useful idiots, just come marching in.
Well, listen, JJ, I got to run for the break at the bottom, but I want to address what you just said about the Democrats when we get back. All right, appreciate the call. The rest of you on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be back after this. I just got some incredible news I can't share with you guys. I wish I could. It pains me that I can't share this great news I just got. It's good in some ways, yeah. Now, if you're new, make sure that you subscribe. This is our bottom of the hour break at the radio station we're in right now. Wow. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. You know, Gavin Newsome can't keep control of his wife. He can't keep control of his sound and video crew. He can't keep control of his lying, and he can't keep control of law and order in his state. But with all the things that President Trump's dealing with, he just dropped something big. Listen to this. This just dropped. President Trump on Truth Social. Our deal with China is done, subject to final approval by the Chinese president and me. Full magnets and any necessary rare earths will be supplied up front by China. Likewise, we will provide to China what was agreed to, including Chinese students using our colleges and universities, which has always been good with me. We are getting a total of 55% tariffs. China is getting 10%. Relationship is excellent. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And that was at 8:05 this morning. Wow. Wow, that's a real leader as opposed to this clown out in California. Okay, now I wanted to talk about what the JJ from Mass had mentioned about the Democrats that we're seeing on TV. I know, isn't that amazing? What we're seeing about these Democrats that are out here backing up all the rioting that's going on, and they're trying to spread it to other cities. See, what happened to the Democrat Party's done, okay? And it started with the squad, okay? And I'll remind you of something that happened that you may remember, but you may not be aware of because the media, you know, didn't spend a lot of time. When AOC and Ilhan Omar and those other lunatics in the squad first went to the House, they thought they were all that. Okay, and they were doing, they're always doing stupid stuff, but they really, AOC and the squad, all of 5 of them at the time, embarrassed themselves beyond imagination. They decided, since they all just got elected, that it was, you know, they were going to be running the country, and they went looking to confront Mitch McConnell in his Senate office, and they took a television crew with them to watch them march to Mitch McConnell's office. Any of you remember this? Do you remember what happened? AOC, the whole squad, they've got the camera crews with them. We're going to get to that Mitch McConnell. We're going to tell him what's up. You know what happened? They couldn't find his office. They couldn't find his office. They were walking all over the joint, all over the Capitol, all through the office building. They couldn't find his office. It was so funny. It was humiliating for them and funny. And I don't. It's been a few years, so I don't remember if it was that day or the next. But I know, pretty funny, isn't it? Pelosi was the Speaker of the House, and some reporter went up to her to comment on this self-humiliation that the squad brought upon themselves. And she said, some people need to understand that they're no longer activists, that they're members of Congress. And you've got to stop acting like an activist and act like a member. Okay? And so what has happened with the Democrat Party is they've been taken over by radical activists. Some of them want to erase the borders. Some of them want to erase white people. Some of them want to erase Jews. Okay? It's a collection of radical activists that have taken over their party. And the Democrat Party has no adults that are even half rational anymore. And it's been lost. And when there's certain moments in time when things come up that are really nonpartisan, like taking a hammer and chiseling pieces of a sidewalk up and handing it to people to use as weapons to throw at federal agents, that usually is a nonpartisan issue. We're against that. But not with the Democrats. And they're egging all of this on. So they're in a state of self-destruction, and it started with AOC and the squad. And there's no end in sight. And David Hogg on the other side is helping destroy the DNC. So maybe we should thank David Hogg for his great work of destroying the DNC. All right, let's take a couple more calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian, what's up?
Hey, well, how are you, Brian? You know, Brian, I'm looking at this. I thought the fires in California were a fiasco, and I'm watching what's going on in the streets of L.A. now. Can we say this is this mayor of L.A. she's on the hook too? Can we say this is the worst mayor-governor combination any state has ever had in the republic? I don't think it's a scintilla of brain power.
Pretty close.
Either one of them. Yeah. I mean, it is so pathetic to watch, and I throw the squad in there too. All this thing. This is our democratic leadership in action. It's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen, and how the people could ever even consider voting for these guys again is beyond me.
Yeah.
This guy is he's not a leader. He's just a weasel. And what's going on in the streets of LA is all the way up to the governor's mansion. It's just a disgrace. It's a disgrace for our constitutional republic.
Yeah.
And this guy, I wonder if his wife is leading a little coup against him.
She's obviously angry at him. A wife with her husband in the situation, even if it was good times in California for him, if there was violence in the city that he was handling properly, going shopping in that city like that with the press, she wouldn't do. She is very angry at him.
And she's got the big smile on her face. The key, the worst thing with this this big speech he was going to give that night, this press conference he was going to have, and they don't even have a sound on. I mean, how pathetic is this? It looks like California looks like a third world country with a third world leader.
Yeah.
It's so bad. And this is on view for the entire nation to see. This is your sanctuary city. This is how California's run. Is this what you want? I thought I heard yesterday they still don't have building permits to start rebuilding in the Palisades where the fire was?
Well, they
can't do anything?
That's right.
I mean, who's running
a lot of those people, there's a real estate racket. You know, a lot of these people, they bought those homes. Some of them were condos and stuff. They bought that stuff 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, they want him out. And, you know, like Steve Guttenberg, it's really sad. Steve Guttenberg used to be the biggest movie star in the world, and he hasn't really worked in years. And I mean, I don't know what his financial situation is, but it's been a long time since 3 Men and a Baby and Police Academy. And he probably doesn't have the cash to rebuild his mansion that he bought with the 3 Men and a Baby box office success. And there's a lot of those people, they may be doing okay financially, but to rebuild their house without insurance, and they want them to sell. And you know, I wonder, while California hasn't given them the building permits, are they still collecting property taxes? And and also are those people still that have loans? Are they still making mortgage payments? Or you know what I mean?
So.
Yeah.
I think so. It's a squeeze play. It's a squeeze play on these.
It's insane.
People. But you know, I don't even see anything like really that. I try to say something positive about this governor. I don't even see anything really that likable about this guy either.
His wife obviously agrees. There's no way his wife did that yesterday for any reason other to stick it to him. She is furious at him about something he's done. He's done something to flip out his wife.
Well, not only can he not run the governor's mansion, he can't even run his own house at home. I mean, this is the worst. I'm trying to think of a worse governor that I've ever seen. Nobody comes to mind. I mean,
well, you know, it seems worse because we're living through it. I mean, I don't want to go through a list of bad governors because there's a lot of them, but this is this is the worst because it's happening now. Hey, appreciate the call. Let me see here. Yeah, we'll take one more, then we'll break. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Bill in Louisiana. About those gas masks, I'm watching it a little bit late, but anyway, about those gas masks, they found out the man that was passing them out, and he's a member of a gang, a foreign gang, and he had over 10,000 of those masks, and the gang, their ultimate goal is overthrow the government of the United States.
Well, they picked a bad time to try to do that. It's hard to do that when we have the coolest president we've ever had. Good luck with that. All right, appreciate the call. You know, I want to talk about coastal weight loss secret. You know, this is the first time I've been on any type of diet of any kind or weight loss plan. I've never been on anything, and I didn't think it was going to be that easy. I thought it was going to be very tough. right? I really did. I thought I was going to be given like these little pieces of food that I would eat, but I'd still be hungry all the time. I thought I was going to have to work out all the time. But no, with Coastal Weight Loss Secret, not only did I get to eat food that I would normally eat, I'm not hungry, and I've done 0 exercise. It's absolutely amazing. And one thing I've not talked about too much, I've mentioned it once or twice, but I haven't talked about this a lot, and it's a big part of it that's really kind of cool. You know, when you go to Coastal Weight Loss Secret and you start the weight loss program, you're never alone. They're with you the whole step of the way as a coach, checking in with you all the time and helping you out and answering your questions. And they are available to you throughout the entire process. Now, I lost about a pound a week. Now, if I would have exercised, a pound a day I was losing, about a pound a day. So over the course of a week, I was losing, 7 to 10 pounds a week. And, that's without the exercise. Now, because I didn't exercise doesn't mean you don't have to, okay? If I would have exercised, I would have lost more weight faster. But I thought about a pound a day was pretty good without exercise, and so why bother? That was my attitude. I really don't have time for all that gym stuff anyway. But again, there's no prescription medications, no pills, no injections, no surgeries, no crazy workout routine, eating foods I would normally eat, and I'm never feeling hungry. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. And remember, when you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. Here's their number, 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We're going to take our last break of the day and be back with the Gold Report. Hey there, we got about 30 seconds, all right? So just stand by. Okay. I'm going to keep the line open, but we have about 20 seconds. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. And each morning at this time, we check in with William Youngerman at the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking?
Metals looking very good, Brian. Very strong gold and platinum markets. The market yesterday gold trading in a range of $3,301 all the way up to $3,350 before closing out the day just down $2 at $3,322 the ounce. Silver lost 20 cents yesterday, closing at $36.46. Platinum was down $1 at $12.19, and palladium lost $17 at $1,059. All those numbers are being erased very quickly today as we see gold trading in a range of $3,315 on the low overnight, all the way up to $3,361 this morning. The market right now, $3,353 on gold, up $31. Silver up, actually unchanged right now at $36.46 the ounce. Platinum up $44 at $12.63. And palladium gaining $21 at $1,080. So the markets are still doing very well. Gold still trading in the similar range right now at the higher end of the range, but looking very supportive at the $3,300 number. Silver showing some good support at $36. And platinum just keeps making new highs.
Yeah, you know, with platinum, because that's the second time this week you've been telling us how well platinum has been doing lately. What's the recommendation on platinum? Is it buy? Is it hold? What do you recommend with platinum right now?
No, we're liking platinum. We're seeing a lot of interest in platinum at these low levels. I mean, platinum historically traded for more than gold. It's 15 times rarer than gold. It has a lot of industrial uses. So at these numbers, we certainly like platinum.
Yeah, and a lot of people, because we don't talk about platinum so much, what forms is platinum available in?
Yeah, platinum comes in 1 ounce and 10 ounce bars. More commonly, the different coins of the world, the platinum maple leafs, platinum platypuses from Australia. We have platinum eagles from the United States. And there's a couple of other coin products also.
Yeah,
very popular.
and they're beautiful. They're beautiful coins. Okay, so listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. And remember, you can do all your transactions over the phone and through the mail if you can't make it into his shop in Boca. And his number is toll-free, 800-327-5010, 800-327-5010. His address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And online, you can find both his address and phone number, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care. We are back. I wanted to share this. You know, it's so bizarre to me that Eva Longoria, she's in Spain at her Spanish villa. I understand she's worth $80 million. How is she worth so much money? What did she didn't do that much. Desperate Housewives was a long time ago. I know she did some movies. Holy smokes. But anyway, there seems to be, and this is what I don't get. There's a lot of people who are Hispanic that see Hispanic people in California break terrible laws, assaulting federal agents, burning police cars, looting businesses. But because they're Hispanic and they're Hispanic, they feel a need to defend this criminal behavior. And I don't get that. I don't go around defending white people that are out attacking and doing crime. Do you? No. But let me play a little bit. This is Eva Longoria in Spain, wanting you to know that she's standing tall and is in solidarity with those that are attacking police and federal agents and looting businesses in L.A. Roundups. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here's the enough of her. You know, here's the thing about that and some of the other things, okay, that are going on. Yesterday, I wish I could play this audio for you, but there were so many F-bombs in it. If I beep them out, you'd have nothing but just like beep. The son of Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. Now, I've assumed that Kurt Russell is probably a pretty conservative guy. I've always thought that, but maybe I'm wrong. He's a Hollywood actor. Who knows? But did you see their son yesterday? He went where the military are at the Eye Center and just started screaming the most F-bomb after F-bomb, just so nasty. And, you know, the reason I always focus in on these actors is they're always advocating for these illegals to be here, the undocumented, taking all these different jobs. Eva Longoria had mentioned the Home Depot. I got 2 calls early in the show from 2 workers. One of them is a long haul truck driver who he said he used to make $3 grand a week. Now it's about 12. The wages have gone down because there have been so many illegals getting the truck driving jobs. And he was talking since President Trump's executive order about the English, you got to speak English to be a truck driver. He has seen the Department of Transportation at the weigh stations test to see if these drivers speak English, and if they don't, they're off the road. That's amazing. He said that's right. I mean, he was talking, the wages have gone down because they work for less, and there's an overabundance of long-haul drivers because the illegals taking that very skilled job away. But President Trump's pushing the ones that don't speak English out. I got another guy who called me from California in the first hour of the program, and he works in the drilling industry. It wasn't oil drilling, some type of environmental drill. I wasn't quite clear on what kind of drilling, but it's skilled labor. And he was talking about how in California they hire illegals to work on those jobs as well. And those long-haul truck drivers, people that work in the drilling industry, those used to be very high-paying jobs. The jobs that the illegals are taking are not just menial labor that nobody wants, okay? They're taking highly skilled jobs. I go to Home Depot. I don't know. I can do some things around the house, but I'm not a carpenter. I'm not a plumber. I'm not an electrician. I'm not going to go in the garage with a saw and start cutting 2x4s and build an addition on my house. I got to hire people that have the skills to do that. And these daily work crews, when they go to Home Depots looking for workers, they're not looking for guys like me. The only thing I would be good for is picking up the trash. I could be the cleanup guy on the job site. They're looking for guys that do skilled labor that will do it for slave wages that they don't have to pay legal immigrants or Americans to do. So not only do they cause a lot of unemployment, they're taking skilled jobs. And by the way, these jobs that they say nobody wants to do, people want to do those jobs, okay? Landscaping. I've known many guys in my time that have landscaping businesses. Not so much in the last few years because illegals have taken over that industry here in Florida. Although I have noticed that I am not seeing as many lawn crews in my development that I used to see before Trump's second term because they were filled with illegals. My guy's an American, only uses Americans, okay? And he when I first met him, he told me that right out of the box because he can't financially compete with the others. But I'm not seeing these illegals and their lawn crews around. And you would know them because they would go around and knock on your door or stop you in the driveway trying to sell you to trim your trees or something. And they're gone. And the reason they're gone is they're afraid of getting rounded up. So they're not out there cruising the streets doing lawn business. But these types of jobs are good jobs that people make good livings at their entire life. The hotel jobs, farm work, all these things. I don't know what to do on a farm. There's more than just picking on a farm, which mostly is automated. These are skilled jobs that this workforce has been taking from people, whether it's the truck driver, the guy in the drilling industry I talked to earlier, or some of these others. And what President Trump is doing is absolutely amazing. And there's a common thing that you hear MAGA people say all over the place, online, on television, everywhere. This is why we elected Trump. This is what we elected him to do, what we're seeing. What's going on in Los Angeles is why we elected him. And thankfully, he has these 2 non-consecutive terms, because if he'd had 2 terms back-to-back, he wouldn't have been as effective. He wouldn't have been, first off, he's had 4 years to organize what's going on here. But 4 years of experiencing Biden, that woke a lot of people up. And he's able to do what's got to be done in a way that he probably would not have been able to do with 2 consecutive terms. All right, we're winding down. So you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, yeah. I heard that Walmart, hold on, let me please. I heard Walmart, the billionaire, she's the one who's putting up his.
No, she's been
out.
paying. I saw a story on that. One of the wives of a Walmart family member, who's
big lip.
she of course. She's been paying for this June 14th thing that they're doing. She's been advertising it. Yeah, so she's been doing that. Absolutely. Well, listen, I'm running short on time, and I want to tell everyone about Dr. Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. It's Wednesday, a day closer to the weekend. If you're suffering with aches and pains, go see Dr. Appleton. Aches and pains, suffering is not a part of growing old. Go to Dr. Appleton. The laser away pain treatment, there's no shots, no injections, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. It's 100% painless, and it works. He's rid me of pain 7 times. But what it does, the laser treatment repairs the damage that's causing you the pain. That's why the 7 times that I've been treated by Dr. Appleton, and by the way, Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself, not an assistant. He does them all himself. The pains haven't returned because he's repaired the damage that was causing me the pain. It's amazing. Give him a call. Remember, appointments aren't necessary either. Walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. All right, we got another one in the can, but we'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. We've had some great calls today, even from some of the liberals. Those of you that are new to the program, welcome. We're always gaining new listeners, and this program grows through your word of mouth, telling your friends about the program. So I appreciate all that you guys do, spreading the word about the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. This is the longest-running radio show in the state of Florida. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. And in August, we're going to hit the big 49. Pretty amazing, huh? My name's Brian Craig. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump. All right, guys, we're out. Listen, thanks for watching. I'll have a new podcast for you today. If you didn't catch my podcast last night, make sure you check it out. And if you're new and you've just been watching for a few minutes, this is where MAGA comes to talk, all right? Make sure you subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video and sharing on your socials if you don't mind, all right? Take care. I'll talk to you later.